A World Cup broadcast has been thrown into controversy after a TV pundit made racist comments live on air during Belgium's tense clash with Iran. What should have been a discussion about football, a red card, a missed chance, and Belgium's worrying World Cup position suddenly became something much bigger. Former footballer Rade Bogdanovic, working as a pundit on Serbian national broadcaster RTS, is now facing fierce criticism after comments aimed at Belgium defender Nathan Ngoy during coverage of Sunday's Group G match in Los Angeles. Belgium had already been frustrated on the pitch. They failed to beat Iran, they finished the match with 10 men, and now their World Cup campaign is under serious pressure. But after the final whistle, the story moved away from the result and onto the words spoken in the studio. And those words have sparked anger. Belgium went into the match against Iran needing a strong response. This was supposed to be the moment their talent-filled squad took control of Group G. Instead, it turned into another difficult night. After drawing 1-1 with Egypt in their opening game, Belgium were held again, this time in a goalless draw against Iran. That result alone was damaging. 2 matches, 2 draws, and suddenly Belgium's path to the next round looks much more complicated than expected. But the biggest turning point came in the 66th minute. Nathan Ngoy, only 23 years old and making just his 6th international appearance, was shown a red card after a last-man challenge. It left Belgium down to 10 men and made their search for a winner even harder. For Ngoy, it was a devastating moment. A young defender on one of football's biggest stages caught in a critical mistake, walking off the pitch while his team's World Cup hopes became even more uncertain. But after the match, the reaction from the television studio crossed a line. Rade Bogdanovic, a former striker who played for clubs including Atletico Madrid and Werder Bremen, was discussing the incident when he made comments that have been widely condemned as racist. Instead of simply analyzing the mistake, the red card, or Belgium's performance, he brought race into the discussion. He suggested that black players lack concentration late in matches, a statement that immediately shifted the conversation from football analysis to offensive stereotyping. And when the presenter pushed him further, Bogdanovic did not back away. He continued to defend his point, saying he was not generalizing, while still making comments about the majority lacking concentration. For many viewers, that was the moment the controversy exploded. Because this was not a private conversation. This was live World Cup coverage, a global tournament, a match watched by fans from different countries, cultures, and backgrounds. And the comments were not just about one mistake. They were aimed at a wider group of players. That is why the backlash has been so strong. Football punditry can be sharp. It can be brutal. It can criticize a player's timing, decision-making, technique, or awareness. But there is a clear line between analyzing a football error and reducing players to racist stereotypes. And according to the criticism now surrounding Bogdanovic, that line was crossed live on television. The controversy came on a night when Belgium were already under huge pressure. This was not a minor result for them. Belgium now have only 2 points from 2 matches in Group G. They drew with Egypt, they drew with Iran, and despite the quality in their squad, they are now facing the real possibility of a first-round exit. That is a stunning position for a team expected to compete strongly in the tournament. Meanwhile, Iran's result was seen very differently. For Iran, the draw with Belgium was another important point after their dramatic 2-2 draw with New Zealand. They have now shown resilience in back-to-back games, and Bogdanovic himself actually praised Iran after the match. He said Iran were already winners because of the age of the team, their experience, and the conditions under which they were playing. He also said he wanted Iran to beat Egypt, while also expressing support for Egypt in their own match that night. And Egypt did deliver. They came from behind to beat New Zealand 3-1, with Mohamed Salah scoring the decisive second goal. That victory took Egypt to the top of Group G and added even more pressure on Belgium before the final round of matches. So, in football terms, Group G has suddenly become one of the most dramatic groups of the tournament. Egypt are flying, Iran are fighting, New Zealand are still part of the story, and Belgium, despite their star power, are in danger. But the bigger headline is no longer just Belgium's red card or their failure to win. It is what happened after. A young defender made a mistake. A team lost control of a match, but then a pundit turned that mistake into something far more damaging. And now the debate is not only about football standards, it is about broadcasting standards. Should comments like that ever make it onto live television? How should networks respond when punditry becomes offensive? And what responsibility do former players have when they speak to millions of viewers during the biggest tournament in the sport? Those questions are now hanging over this controversy. Because the World Cup is supposed to showcase the best of football, The drama, the pressure, the emotion, the national pride. But moments like this remind everyone how quickly a match can be overshadowed by words spoken off the pitch. For Belgium, the focus now turns to survival. They must recover from another frustrating draw, deal with the fallout from Nathan Ngoy's red card, and find a way to keep their World Cup hopes alive. For Iran, the point against Belgium is another sign of belief and discipline in a difficult group. For Egypt, the win over New Zealand has changed the entire shape of Group G. But for Rade Bogdanovic, the conversation is now very different. His comments on Serbian television have brought fierce criticism, and the reaction is continuing to grow. A football mistake can be analyzed. A red card can be debated. A team's World Cup chances can be questioned. But racist stereotypes have no place in football coverage. And after this incident, the message from many viewers is clear. Live television must do better. Because at the World Cup, every word matters.